Then we want the third bulkhead and the battery tray. This fits in here. Then you've just got to jiggle this into place. Make sure the bulkhead is pressed hard down against the keel before you glue to it. And the bulkhead should be pressed tightly against the battery tray. And there's the next section. Before we fit the rest of the bulkheads, a couple of things we need to do. This cabin lower door needs to fit into the bulkhead. Easier to do it now than later. And this piece, which is for the other half of the magnetic catch, needs to be fitted onto this bulkhead. There are 3 marks to show you where to fit it. Obviously make sure the pilot holes are visible. And line it up between the marks. Like this. And glue it in place. When that's set, screw the magnetic catch onto it. Now let's assemble the rest of the bulkheads. First the one with the cabin door, which fits over the prop shaft, cabin door to the rear of course. And then the one under the cockpit, just cut right down. Don't glue any of these at this stage. Then the one with the magnetic catch forms the back of the cockpit. Now we need to join all these two together with these 2 strips. They're identical. The hole is to the rear. You engage the to this side. You engage the front of it, the bulkhead, and then you've got to jiggle all these into place. A bit at a time, back and forward, and you will get it in place. Same with the other one. That locks everything rigidly together and holds everything square. Very, very important you press everything firmly down onto the keel. before you glue anything. One further point, this is slightly flexible to make sure it's upright. It's not critical, but it needs to look neat. When you've got all that ready, you can glue it in place. Make sure it's all firmly down though first. Making sure everything stays firmly down until you've done the very last one. If you don't, it'll just make it much more difficult to complete. And then make sure you glue every joint, without exception. That's the next stage. Also at this stage, you need to make a decision about your rudder servo. We supply a servo tray that's pre-cut for a high-tech HS225 servo or any similar mini servo. It's already pre-drilled for you. But if you want to use a different type of servo, we also supply a blank so you can cut it out to suit anything you want. But now's the time to make a decision because it's quite hard to cut out later on. This is where the servo tray fits. It only goes one way around because there's a wider and narrower piece. Make sure it's pressed hard down against the keel. Press forward against the bottom of the keel. Transom in place. Next we fit the aprons. These again marked port and starboard because they're machined to make it easier to fit the skins. Fit the front one first. Fit both front ones before you glue, because they fit into the same hole. Hold them tightly in place and glue. Tightly against the bulkhead and glue. Then we have two extensions. These make it much easier to fit the stringers, because you don't have to bend the stringers so far round as you do in many kits. Again, port and starboard, get the right one. Fit them in. There you go. Next we want to fit these stringers. These form the support for the deck and locate the cabin. They simply slot in, pushing them as far forward as you can and all the way down. Make sure they're pushed far forward into here. Press firmly down and forward. They overhang the back, which you can chop off afterwards. Okay. Making sure they're firmly down, gluing. Next we fit the stringers. There's a little pocket there that a stringer fits into. Makes it so much easier than having to clamp everything or nail it. Push it tightly into the pocket. Align it so it's the same height as the breast hook. Hold this tight. Tack it in place. Move round, holding it down, tacking, move round to the next one, pressing it firmly into the corner of the bulkhead. And now the doublers. Obviously, two thin strips are easier to bend than one thick one, so it's made of two thin strips. Line it up carefully. Just tack the very front. Then we can bend it round. And then you do the same with your lower stringers. Engage them in the aprons. Line it carefully. Tack it in place. Work your way along. At the stern, you need to bend them down quite forcefully. Hold that tight. And then you need to double it the same as the earlier one. There we are. Do the same on the other side, of course. And the next job is to remove the ends of these stringers that are overhanging. Again, the best thing to use is a razor saw. And then we need to trim up the ends flush with the transom. That's that job done.